Hey everybody, welcome back. Some time ago, I uploaded a series test running version 1 of my 1100 plus step efficient early Ironman route, link in the description, before promptly having to take a break from old school RuneScape without being able to complete the series. Since then, many quest, minigame, distraction diversion, and quality of life updates have been released that have either affected early steps or need to be integrated in with them. Along with that, through running the route myself and from receiving many helpful Discord and YouTube comments, I've compiled a list of corrections and missed opportunities that have been integrated with those updates into a more optimized and a lot more user-friendly version 2. If you're familiar with V1, feel free to check the chapters below to skip to the start of V2. Note that the route is constantly being updated, so for the most recent information, check the document link in the description. While many Ironman routes exist, with perhaps the most popular being Osiris's, they tend to focus on doing long skill or activity grinds for hours if not dozens to over 100 hours at a time in order to set themselves up in the very long run, such as doing Wintertodt to 85 or even 99 fire making, alongside getting significant amounts of woodcutting, construction, and fletching experience on top of the myriad of supplies you get from supply crates, rushing agility to 60 plus for full graceful, doing Barbarian Fishing to 99 fishing alongside 77 agility and strength, or perhaps Tempoross as a newer alternative, the Wintertodt of fishing. There's also Last Man Standing, which people will do from level 3 in order to get a rune pouch, and a near infinite stack of rune arrows to sell for vast amounts of starting gold. Relatedly, there's Soul Wars, which people will do to get spoils of war for large amounts of starting wealth and useful raw materials. Or Blackjacking, which people will do to 80 or even 91 to 99 thieving for vast amounts of gold. That strategy is great and works for many people, but for those who want to experience different types of content for the very beginning while still being efficient and without burning out from grinding the same activity for dozens of hours on end, that's what this route is for. And don't get me wrong, it's RuneScape. There'll be plenty of grinding. So, what does this route aim to achieve? From the very get-go, this route prioritizes overlapping as many quest steps and diary tasks as possible to minimize the amount of backtracking, chaining quest rewards to meet skill level requirements for the next set of quests to minimize the time spent grinding specific skills, as well as chaining quest rewards to have enough gold for subsequent quests to minimize the time spent having to grind it. Unlocking as many teleport and travel options as early as possible to minimize walking and to set you up for future activities like clue scrolls. Obtaining or lining you up to obtain as many useful pieces of quest and activity related combat and utility gear along the way, and setting you up from an overall standpoint to be able to grind whatever skills need to be trained for the next set of quests after there's nothing left to chain together due to the exponential amount of XP needed for higher levels, aka once you reach the end of the early game. I'll have another video out at a later date to discuss the differences between V1 and V2 more deeply, but for now, let's get on to the route. Oh, and if you want to join the OSRS Efficient Irons Discord server, the link will be in the description. I'm trying to be a lot more active there recently and would love to have you there. When it comes to character creation, there's a few things to highlight. You want to make your character female to save 3k gold and time during the recruitment drive quest. You'll need an authenticator on your account to access the Stronghold of Security rewards for the early 10k gold, plus adding an authenticator increases your bank space by 8, as does setting a bank pin, which you're required to do when becoming an Ironman. Don't forget to talk to the Ironman tutor to change your account type before leaving Tutorial Island, then make sure to set and adjust your game settings. Relatedly, I strongly suggest using the Runelite client as it comes with a host of plugins relating to quality of life improvements, tools and calculators, wiki and skill level lookups, activity and tile marker overlays, a menu entry swapper, and it has a Jagex approved community plugin hub, including a quest helper, which is super helpful. It's also open source and free, no sign up required, but only download it from runelite.net, as people have spoofed the site and other download links to successfully phish people's account information and steal all their gold. Welcome to Lumbridge. Starting off, we're going to head north and get the cool red Ironman armor from the tutors. It only has the same stats as regular iron armor and weighs a crap ton, but it'll have its uses. Then head northeast to Veos in the pub to start X marks the spot before continuing west to the magic and range tutors. There should be some men or women nearby as well. Pickpocket one of them to satisfy a Lumbridge easy diary task. Drop your mind in air runes by the tutors and ask the magic tutor for some runes. She'll give you 30 sets of air strikes. The reason we drop them is because if you have any in your inventory or bank, she will tell you that you already have some. Then you can talk to the range tutor if you want to toggle having your arrows or bolts go to your ammo slot over your inventory slot when you pick them up if the type matches, which is awesome because it'll save an inventory click every time you have to pick up your ammo since it auto-equips. You could also talk to the magic tutor to have the same effect applied to the rune pouch, but that won't be obtained for quite a long time. Back to the strike runes, you want to save the vast majority of your cast for imps, as they drop many useful items for early quests, and having to chase them around with melee whenever they teleport would be really annoying. Back to the route, head to the general store to sell your bronze sword and wooden shield for 23 GP, then purchase a spade for X marks the spot. We're going to head southeast past the spawn point to the axe shop, to dig one tile west of the bush on the northern side of it to get that first clue for X marks the spot. Then we're going to head into the castle toward the kitchen, and you may see Hans in a red shirt walking around. If so, ask him for your account age to satisfy another easy diary task, but if he's not there because he patrols around, you can find him later. In and near the kitchen, pick up the mine rune, jug, knife, empty pot, and empty bowl, then go out the western door and dig one tile southwest of the crate for the X marks the spot orb. Then go upstairs and talk to the Duke to start rune mysteries before heading up to the bank, and deposit everything but your knife and go to the 4 log spawns to the north. Now I know the point of the route is to get as much early experience from quests as possible, but in this case, we're targeting Tourist Trap as an early quest because you can get from 1 to 26 agility in one go, which will be super helpful for run energy restore. The quest requires 10 fletching, and the only non-manual source of fletching experience we can get ahead of time is 300 from X marks the spot, meaning we need to grind out the remaining 854 experience on our own. That's about 43 world hops at 4 logs each, and if you're using Runelite, you can make this process a whole lot faster and easier by using Control-Shift and the left or right arrow keys to quick hop worlds, which will bypass any special or PvP worlds. However, this is a very common method for Ironman due to how fast it is versus manually chopping wood, so there may be multiple people world hopping, especially now that Group Ironman is out. A little trick here is to try manually hopping to free-to-play worlds, since the auto-hop feature also skips over them. Fill your inventory in free-to-play, then hop back to members to fletch it all. Once you're done, keep at least 4 logs for various quests and random fires, then bank again. Pull out your air talisman, all mind and air runes, your shrimp and bread for safety, and I also like to equip the bronze dagger since we need to kill a rat for its meat, and it gives +1 magic attack bonus, even though that's all but negligible as most enemies you'll fight early on have no magic defense anyway. We're then going to head out of the castle to the church to the east to talk to Father Eric to start the Restless Ghost quest. Then head far south through the graveyard and along the coast so you see the quest icon on the map, and talk to Abigail to start Mistle and Mystery. Take the boat to the south, and since the goal here isn't to rewrite quest guides, either follow the wiki quick guide to complete the quest completion, or if you have Runelite, get the Quest Helper plugin, enable it, and the overlay will lead you through everything. Makes it so much faster. As a side note, I disabled the HD plugin during this quest because it was impossible to see the swirling black clouds with the shadows on during the final part, and I forgot to turn it back on for a bit, but it'll come back. Completing the quest rewards you with 1 quest point, 600 crafting experience, and an uncut sapphire, emerald, and ruby. Go west of the swamp and kill a level 3 rat by the shack to get its meat for druidic ritual. I say level 3 because the level 6s have double the health. Continue west past the dungeon icon on the map to the other shack to talk to Father Ernie to get the Ghostbeak amulet, but along the way, pick up every swamp tar spawn you see for Sea Slug and other future quests. Drop the Ghostbeak amulet you get and talk to the priest to get a couple more to have spares, then use the home teleport in your spellbook to go back to Lumbridge, and go north to get another free strike set from the magic tutor, as it should have been a half hour by now. This detour will actually be built in multiple times because you can both home teleport and get a set of runes every 30 minutes, and the runes have a store price of 228 GP, which is a lot of money early on, plus it's runes you won't have to buy to get to level 13 for your bread and butter attack for quite some time, Fire Strike. And, since you'll need to kill so many imps for their beads for the Imp Catcher quest, it helps to keep up on that. Go to the mausoleum in the graveyard, equip your amulet, and talk to the ghost. Afterwards, go back west all the way through the swamp towards the Wizard's Tower Bridge, picking up the 4 or so swamp tar spawns you see along the way. Cross the bridge to the south and enter the tower. Head downstairs into the basement and talk to Cedrador to continue rune mysteries. Then go to the altar in the eastern room and search it for the ghost skull for Restless Ghost. Then run away from the skeleton that appears because you're not required to kill it. Head back upstairs and grab a pair of leather boots from the table for the dig site quest, and then go north to Draenor Bank. Also, since I mentioned random events earlier, I just wanted to show that I got a genie, which is why I'm level 7 crafting instead of 6, since I was told that created some confusion during version 1. At the bank, you're going to want to only have out coins, strike runes, equip the bronze dagger if you want it, as well as the spade and the X marks the spot orb. We're going to go north and around the buildings to the building with the cheese in it and pick up at least 1 for the witch's house. If you accidentally eat the cheese or get caught during the quest, you'll need another piece, so plan accordingly. Notice I also get 3 tomatoes here, but that was for a step that no longer exists. Then we're going to go northeast where you'll see a woman named Lila by the wheat farm and a bush by her. Dig 4 tiles north of the bush for the third X marks the spot clue, then go northwest to the house with the quest icon, and talk to Morgan to start the Vampire Slayer quest before going upstairs and picking up at least 3 garlic from the cupboard. 1 for Vampire Slayer, 1 for fishing contest, and 1 to have a spare to be safe. Go back to the market, dig in the very middle of the pig pen to get the casket for X marks the spot, then go to the wine merchant in the market and fill your inventory with wines. This is also a very popular spot for early level Ironmen, so if you're having some issue with low stock, you could try the world hopping to free to play trick. After you get your wines, bank and have out around 10 or so. They're pretty heavy, and I only use 3 or 4 when going through the stronghold, but as much as you need to feel safe. So now we're going to head north into Barbarian Village to go into the stronghold security to get that 10k GP. You want to save your run energy for now, as you're going to have to run past several monsters that can hit up to 7. That's the max hit anything can hit in the stronghold, so you want to make sure that you have run energy to get past those. If you've never done the stronghold before, I made you this cheat sheet, but I would recommend looking at the wiki or a video just to be clear. Once you finish the 3rd floor and have the 10k gold, you can take the portals back to the surface and return to Draenor, where we're going to purchase a Chronicle and 4 teleport cards. The Chronicle teleports you to the Champions Guild outside of Varrock, which makes it Iron Man's best friend for getting to that area early on. We're also going to purchase 12 potato seeds and 2 marigold seeds from Olivia. Now, most of early farming levels, the first 30, 34 or so, are going to come from questing, but there's multiple situations where we can work in early farming on our own, now that we've got some gold. Once we visit charter ships, we can get pineapples for super cheap and turn those into super compost, which is worth about 584 XP once you dump all 15 buckets in and use those buckets on the patches, so it is worth it in the end and very cheap. Also check the notice board behind the wine stall to start the A Poor Sign of Interest quest, and then purchase 2 to 3 more inventories of wines because that is your primary food source for upcoming quests until we get some cakes to go alongside that. Bank and have out just your coins, the X marks the spot casket, strike runes, and a small fishing net. And now we're heading west into Port Sarim to vibe. And kill this imp. Also, as a side note, you can see I don't have the NPC indicator names on yet for imps, but I will later, and I do recommend that since it makes them way easier to see and it puts a little blue dot on your minimap. First thing we're going to do is talk to Redbeard Frank by the pub to start Pirate's Treasure. Then to his southeast on the docks is Veos, who we're going to talk to turn in X marks the spot, gaining 1 quest point, 200 GP, a 300 XP lamp, which we're going to put into fletching to get level 10 for Tourist Trap, as well as a beginner clue scroll. And just like random events and imps, there's no way for me to be able to know what your clue scroll steps are, so just fit them in as needed. In my case, I need to go talk to the cook in Lumbridge. We're going to go northwest to follow our farm, and on the way talk to Captain Talk at the crossroads to start Corsair Curse. Go to the western pen of the farm to pick up an egg for Cook's assistant, then go back inside and talk to Sarah to continue A Poor Sign of Interest. Browse her farm store to satisfy a follower easy diary task, then purchase a spade, seed dibber, and rake for farming. Leave through the north to kill a calf for their raw beef to burn later for Witch's Potion, unless an imp happens to drop a burnt one on the way. Then go east to the farming patch and rake all the patches, which will be about 40 XP total, unless the weeds happen to regrow while you're there. Deposit the weeds in the compost bin, then pick as many cabbages as you need from the patch to the south to completely fill the bin, and then close it to start the process. Then store your tools with the tool leprechaun nearby. This will help bump us to level 2 farming to grow marigolds and catherby later on, which will protect our potatoes to prevent experience loss. Then we're going to go southwest back into Port Sarim to the magic shop to purchase 400 mind runes, 700 air runes, 250 water runes, 50 earth runes, and if an imp hasn't dropped a blue wizard hat yet, which it did for me just a bit ago, purchase a black wizard hat. You'll notice I bought a different set of runes, and that was because I was testing out the magic experience required to get to Fire Strike, which is level 13, and I royally screwed up and bought way too many earth runes when I didn't need a single one to get to level 13, so this is the proper order. Then we're heading south to the fishing shop to get the white apron off the back for Pirate's Treasure, equip it to save an inventory space, then continue south to the food store and purchase up to 12 red berries for the knight's sword and to make red dyes, depending on how much inventory space you have left. Talk to the customs officer to take the boat to Karamja, then head west to the bar and buy some Karanja rum for Pirate's Treasure. Go north to the docks to fish up some shrimp for the Karamja Easy Diary task, and then drop the shrimp. Go south and pick 5 bananas on the way back to the docks, where there's a man named Luthus in his hut. Ask him for a job, then throw the bananas in the crate, head back to get 5 more, or whatever the remainder is if you had extra inventory space, put them in the crate, and then get your 30 coins from Luthus before talking to the charter member. Take the charter ship to Catherby for 480 GP, then from the charter member purchase a bucket of sand and a soda ash to later smelt into molten glass for the observatory quest, then fill your inventory with however many empty pots you can hold. Head to the bank, and for now, I think we're going to call it here. I appreciate every single one of you who has been waiting in the year since I have uploaded last. I'm sorry I'm gone. I'm happy to be back, and I look forward to talking to all of you. Thanks again, everybody. See you next time.